everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on the 1994 film Speed. Now, as you know, Speed is meant to be a 1994 action film that was meant to feature Keanu Reeves in a starring role, where he basically had to take control of a bus to make sure it didn't fall below 50 miles per hour. And the film has been referenced in The Critic as well as Johnny Bravo. So the premise of the film is meant to follow how, after stopping a terrorist attack on an elevator, we see how Jack Tevin, who's meant to be a tough as nails sort of expert bomb disposal officer, is let known by a dangerous terrorist and former officer Howard Crane that he has rigged a bus to explode, and if it falls below 50 miles per hour, the bus will explode. So we kind of see how it's a race against time for Jack to get to the bus, as well as trying to keep the sort of people on the bus under control and try to handle the situation. I think while the film has a good idea, like trying to show Jack as this tough as nails, kind of trying to keep the situation under control and trying to find ways to outsmart Howard, as well as trying to deal with the problem, I think the problem I would say is that, I think when Keanu Reeves does play the role of Jack, he sounds a bit too much like this stereotyped action-packed hero feel. And I kind of think the problem with Howard's character is that his reasons don't really feel believable. And it feels like, because of one sort of fatal injury, he was forced to retire with a cheap gold watch. I think if they made his character maybe kind of have it that he had doubts about the police force, and maybe kind of feeling like they should have done more to have probably kept his family safe, maybe this would have made him a good dark counterpart to Jack. I think the problem with Howard's character is that he just feels like this stereotyped, sort of like former officer gone bad role. And I think, I give it credit that it does kind of show you how Jack has to use his surroundings, and we do kind of see how Annie does try to be the emotional support while we're trying to handle the passengers on the bus. And I think throughout the film, you know it's going to be a race against time to try and calm the situation down. And we do see how the other officers have to find a way to stop Howard, as well as try to get the passengers off the bus. I think the problem with Speed is that it does feel like a bit like a sort of cheap cash-in to try and cash in on Die Hard's success. I think the problem is a lot of action films had done this, and I think it's just been that point where everyone back in the 90s was trying to do a Die Hard flick, everyone was trying to ride on Die Hard's success, and I think the problem was, much like Speed, we saw how, much like Die Hard, we did see how Speed tried to get a sequel known as Speed 2 Cruise Control, which kind of left a lot of people basically miserable. And it even kind of was considered by David Astrin, who's also a film critic, to be considered one of the worst sequels of all time. So you could tell Speed was trying to ride on Die Hard's success, and it just kind of feels like, some characters just don't really work as much. It just feels like some characters were thrown in as love interests, and it kind of feels like the villain just kind of feels like a stereotyped villain without giving them any tragic motivation, no reason for the way they were, and just kind of throwing it with no explanation. I think the point of making a villain is you want them to be a counterpart to the hero, as well to show in their mind they think they're the good guy, but don't see any consequences in their actions, or show them signs that they're not evil, but want to believe what they do is right. I think while Speed is an enjoyable film, It's just clear this was just done as a really pointless attempt on cashing in on Die Hard's success. And I think, yeah, Keanu Reeves' character, Jack Tavin, is obviously a poor man's version of Bruce Willis's character from Die Hard. I think, well, yeah, Speed kind of crashed through hard. It's not a perfect film, but you can tell there was some intentions to make it work. But I think this film definitely deserves a thumbs down. Well, not the best. It just feels like a really poor man's attempt on cashing in on Die Hard's success and just trying to be a sort of race against the clock terrorist attack film. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.